Hello everybody, welcome back to our video on Integralist Brazil, or the Brazilian Empire, or whatever you want to call it, because we are fascist. Actually, we are national populist, of course, but it's pretty much fascism. I mean, it has the same colors as fascism. Like the game also acknowledges it at some point. I'm not sure, but like pretty much national populism is not really. It's like really nationalist, like pride for your own country, and yeah, that doesn't really feel well to the rest of the world. And it's pretty close to Nazism, but whatever. Now we got a thingy. Should get an event for that coffee from last episode. I can believe it was like I told to go ahead and burn the coffee. I would buy the coffee and then burn it. That should raise the price. Yeah, there we go. All across the southern states, giant bonfires are burning thousands of sacks of coffee. According to our economist, this will reduce the offer of Brazilian coffee worldwide, which will in turn raise its price on the international markets. Even if we have spent some money on this, but this investment will return to us in the form of taxes eventually. Now let's toast with a cup of strong black coffee. I love the black. Anything that's black, I love it. With our recent increase in political power, yeah, it's just. Yeah, tutorial playing a little bit. I can either go with limited conscription. I can. However, what is this? Work in progress. Don't worry about this. No, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it, man. Yeah, maybe get another national populist in charge. Decryption. Really wish this would be so. Oh, it is sorted. Encryption. We'll get an infantry equipment manufacturer. That should really help. Just lining up on the. Now I do actually know now that you don't have to tell me. I think that the only way for me to declare war on the Argentinians is actually me declare war on them, and not the other way around. Although there might be some more events if I don't do it as soon as possible. But then again, there might still be civil war, because there's still that thingy that says civil war. Now it's brother against brother. Politics and democracy at large has failed. The wounds in the nation's fabric are much harder to heal than the ones from bullets and shells. Oh my. Now what are we missing? We're missing one oil, but it's really like that for that convoy that we're making. That one little thingy of convoys that we're making, so it doesn't really matter. Also, love that we have like 50% of the nation is national populist supporters of the government. All the rest is really divided, so they can't do anything. I mean, the communists have some pretty well things. If you see syndicalists, radical socialists, and social democrats as the communist nations or the communist thingies. Together they have a lot of power, but I don't think it can match the national populists, because, well, we are the golden. Weapons 1 will soon finish, hopefully. How about we get concentrated industry? Because, like in vanilla, it's like, well, concentrated industry is good if you don't get bombed, but in this game you barely get bombed, like in this mod. Because simply it's just not not really a problem most of the time. And I can perform. Deal with the coronéis. What the hell is this? Forever falls against progress. Coronéis of the northeast will stop at nothing to retain their position of rulers of that region. Time to remind them what the real central government is like. So I can't do that. I can do that if I want to do, but the northeastern governments, who the coronéis, like the social, defang the coronéis, northeast organization. Mixed capital economy, probably good idea. Not with this. I mean, what we have right now is just like it's the only thing we can really do. But I wanted it to have this, so it does not matter. Ah, fucking hell. Now we do still have outdated infantry equipment, which we need to refit all of our troops with, but whatever. Get on the ball, little Pata, please. Thank you. Oh, national populist. Yes, you get a little bit more of national populism. I don't like the flag, that's for sure. Still, I'm going to keep using the Brazilian flag for this series simply because this flag is not really recognizable. I hope you don't mind. I mean, just a flag. Come on. And yeah, also prepare an attack. Just in case the war actually kicks off. It's like start planning, you know. How about I cut that down a bit? How about I just go, say, like here. Just like that. There we go, we have some more units. We'll start training these guys. Infantry equipment 1. So now we'll have to replace all our infantry equipment. These guys can finish, but that's it. Because they are still using old infantry equipment. Which is, of course, good, I guess. If they can, I mean, just having the guys trained to how to use a gun is already a good idea, just in general. It's 1939, 1937, net, nope. Okay, how about we get radio? Probably good. Now, do we need more metal? Probably we do. No, we don't. I guess it still costs the same. Sometimes getting new guns costs you more, like getting new shit like tanks costs you more shit. Simply a thingy. Now, the Caribbean Federation. Do we have any sort of expansionism that we can do? The Spectre is haunting America. Imperial Restoration. Crown Pedro Henrique. So you can actually go back to Empire if you wanted to. However, is there any sort of... So, free Peru, free Colombian republics. International Revolution. I guess this is a thing that you could have done. If you went with the now. Oh no, we can still go down here. Government under guidance. Isla Patina. Uruguay state is now called by into Uruguay. Axis Uruguay. Paraguay. These are Malvinas. So we can go with this because we aren't socialist. We can go with joint ventures. Well, then you go down here and all that fun stuff. We could go ahead and enact the land reform. We can do a lot of shit. But still don't have that civil war yet. We're wondering when that's going to hit. How about we enact land reforms, get that extra factory output. We have some more shit we can use. Oh my. Medium popularity. If we do that, it'll probably just drop down again. So it'll go up to good stability. Get some of that stability up and going. And like get some faith in our government. Now, production. You need 10,000 guns. Tibet has capitulated. Looks like Maklik is winning its war against Mongolia, to say the least. The King of Siam over here. What is this? Sultanate of Malaysia has Sarat Malay as thingy, I guess. National Populist. Again, it's National Populist. It doesn't really matter that our own party is becoming more popular. I mean, it's kind of good if you think about it. Oh, there we go. These guys are finished. Get on the border. Just in case. Now, again, it says that there's... we need to have a civil war. For fuck's sake. I don't like saying that, but we need a civil war. Civil war. Brazil's new era is about to begin. Municipal... yeah, sure, whatever. Actually, already. I mean, we are the AIB, so we'll probably be triumphant, seeing as we are the, you know, the player here and not just simply the AI, which is kind of stupid from time to time. Excavation 1. Now, oh, here we go. Let's get that. They won Hungary. Crisis on the Danube. Despite the victory of the Weltkrieg, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire appeared to be bound to collapse. The Kaiserreich of 927, negotiated when Emperor Otto was still a child, managed to preserve it, though with a granted sense of rights to most of the minorities in the empire. However, the Hungarians were angered by this fact and sought to establish a domineering position in the empire, while Habsburg was still interested in retaining that role. Many put high hopes in the Kaiserreich of 927 to preserve the monarchy, but it appears that all diplomacy has failed. Hungary and Austria have separated and even gone into conflict with one another, a war that is bound to affect any and all autonomous territories of the empire. Europe is just never going to be calm, is it? The Italian Federation declared war as well. Romania declared war as well. Yeah, that's also a thing. The Austrians are winning, but Romania is also. The United States declared war on the American Union States. Oh my! Where are the national populists in this whole faction? No, that doesn't look like it though. We can go ahead and get a new thingy. Deal with the coronéis. Forever falls against progress, coronéis of the Northeast will stop at nothing to retain their position of rulers of that region. Time to remind them of what the real central government is like. Yes, it is. It indeed is. Confiscate lands from the bourgeoisie, and we cannot do that, but we can't do that, but there we go. So there's a Second American Civil War. To any uneducated foreigners, it might seem like the crisis in the United States happened out of nowhere, but experts agree that this wasn't a civil war years in making. Ever since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1929, the economy of the United States has been in constant downturn. Now the United States has developed it into a three-way civil war between the loyalists of the old government, the syndicalist combined syndicates of America, and the conservative and xenophobic American Union states. There have already been reports of arriving volunteers from Europe to fight for a faction of their liking. The Second American Civil War might just be the first of the many battlefields between the great powers of the world in this tough time for humanity. Democracy prevails in the Philippines. Having just achieved independence from the United States, the Philippines face today perhaps one of the most serious challenges any new country could face. Inspired by the combined states of America and the Bariatha Commune, the Scoundrels Army officers marched on Manila to support rebelling peasants and workers. Luckily, their attempt was quickly thwarted as loyalist units in the army reaffirmed. Hold on, I need to pause real quick. Okay, so we're back. Just a little bit, I was downstairs for an entire hour, so I don't know where I was on this event. However, luckily, their attempt was quickly thwarted as loyalist units in the army reaffirmed their support for an intervened in favor of the legitimate democratic sorry, I was eating something, but democratic Filipino government and drove the rebellious army out of the capital, ending the threat of a syndicalist coup before it could even hatch. The United States started mail. So this dude is still in charge. Social liberals, not national populists. Oh, they're not. They're not good. You know. Fuck democracy. Fuck democracy, right? Yay for Brazil, whatever. So these guys at war with each other, and simply Pacific states at war with the United States. So I believe that these guys now all have they all have like their own focus tree. Grocery trot, defend democracy, new nationalism. Okay. On Pacific, building a military. Looks like there's not a lot of. I really like playing as nations where there's a like some sort of intention to conquer shit, but doesn't look like it though. The American Union States. These guys should also have their own focus tree now. Yeah, they do. Looks really extensive as well. Ah, here we go. War Plan Purple. Mexican intervention. Region Central America. Panama intervention. Cuban intervention. Pax Americana. All that fun stuff. Now hold on. If the Panama Canal is not in... well, they're not in the Americans' hands. They're actually in the Pacific States' hands. That's quite a... I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Maybe it was something that just hit. There we go. I'm probably... Yep. I just got that thingy. Now hold on, you are at war with a lot of people, but it looks like you should have a lot of troops, right? Yep, you do. Yep, you fucking do. Bohemia is not finished yet. Yugoslavia is now. The Slavic king. Bring Albania into the fold. Force Albania into the fold. Force Serbia into the fold. There we are united. Industry. Fucking hell. How about we get motorized? No, fuck that. We got recon companies. There we go. Looks like they've actually encircled some people in Venezia, which is very good, of course. Austrian Empire is doing well. Double in Perenco. The coronéis and the coronéis, probably, and other conservative forces in the northeastern states are increasingly cooperative against our reform programs and are becoming more vocal opponents of the federal government. In Rio de Janeiro, this morning, a representative of the Land Reform Commission approached one of the farms of famous Colonel Chico Heraclio in Limero, eastern Pernambuco. As these federal representatives informed of the colonel of the government's decision to confiscate those lands, they were attacked by a band of his armed thugs. Of the 10 men and women in the group, 6 managed to flee on horseback, while one was shot and killed by the Yagunsos, and the remaining 3 are held in captivity. Some members of our cabinet believe that a heavy response to the situation in Limoeiro is just what we need to keep the coronéis in line. With the Força Pública, the Pernambuco State Police, still under their control, we may need to form a detachment of 12 men from our regular army and send them to Chico Heraclio's lands. Alternatively, given that a small band of Lapiaos cancer childs, there we go, are approaching that city, this also could be a chance to test their loyalty to us. Some ministers, however, think that any harsh action will only trigger more unrest from these still strong conservative forces. Form an army detachment sent to Limero, sends Lampio to do the job for us. So... conference with the northeastern governments. Form an army detachment. Because those guys need to fuck themselves. Fighter 1, fuck that. Let's get the radio. We also have a thingy over here. The Moreiro conference. Representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture will meet in Recife with a delegation of state governments led by Pernambuco's Carlos de Lima Cavacensi. No effort can be spread to resolve this crisis, which greatly threatens our programs. Let's get that. I'm gonna take 7 days. It's as simple as that. There we go, we done the Limaro conference or whatever. Should get an event, right? We didn't, okay. Guest event conference with Northeastern government, and governors said we didn't get an event, whatever. Political power, no matter what, we're gonna get political power. This will give us military factories, this will give us national unity, so we'll go with this. Yifang, the coronéis. A systematic confiscation of land and property of the coronéis of the Northeast is to begin. The kleptocrats will no longer reign over millions of Brazilians. Exactly. We'll confiscate his lands. These are Brazilian lands. There you go, you're finished. So I currently have 50 troops. They are also doing it, but looks like they might have a little bit less, and also they don't seem to be recruiting all that much as we are doing. However, we need to get these new guns on the production line, but that's of course will take time. Find the coronéis. We just need to like get these guys out of here, to be honest. That's really it. Paraná line, Campo Grande, Paraná, Rio Grande Sul. So Paraná, Rio Grande Sul, Paraná, and Campo Grande. I believe that's all of them, right? Paraná, Campo Grande. So Campo Grande, which is over here. Paraná Grande and Rio Grande Sul. So this, and this, I believe. We'll get Volta doing that. I know I'm not recruiting people. However, I would like to first of all get my production up and you know, get those upgrades done. Well, however, do we have enough? Yeah, we do actually have enough equipment to train people, so we might as well do it. Just do one line of them. Okay, so the 40-strong army detachment led by Captain Juarez Tavera, sent to deal with the hostage crisis in Limoro, Pernambuco, has succeeded in their mission, having arrived on the Recife the previous night. The men moved northwest to Chico Heraclios branch. After a quick gunfight, which left 5 of his jagunços dead, the remaining thugs surrendered. The hostages, 2 men and 1 woman, were freed and finally proceeded to deliver their eviction note to Heraclio, who was then arrested. This farm, probably a land of exploitation, will be plowed by his own former employees. Now that we have shown the coronéis are fools and will to defend our ideals, land reforms will go on untroubled. However, we must decide now on how to deal with the conservative state government. Should we replace these governors with our own appointed federal auditors, or maybe it would be wiser to hold a grand conference with them? Northeastern governors. Let's hold a conference with them. We don't want a full-scale thingy with them. So, conference of Northeastern governments. Representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture met today in Recife with a delegation of state governments led by Pernambuco's Carlos de Lima Villa. The central government demands a greater cooperation of the conservative forces to our socialist reforms, something that the reactionaries find an insult. The governors, on the other hand, want less pressure from Rio and the option to do a less severe application of the land reforms. With this conservative initiative receiving more and more support from the northeastern elite, any concessions may be seen as a threat to our progressive policies and will be regarded by other sectors of society as a sign of weakness by our government. I can call for federal interventions in these states. We cannot risk more conflict with them, fall to their demands. We may reach an agreement. There we go. No, I could simply gotten 300 like political power, but doesn't seem to like the game. This is what I really like about this game. It's just like they don't tell you everything. Like you don't know what's going to happen. For example, I could have gained 300 political power. Now nowhere they could have like done some shit. CNTFI, FAI, I guess. Go on the Kingdom of Spain, so the communists. There's Carlos Spain. Let's hope for a victory on the... Well, I don't like the communists in general, so I hope that the CNT5 will lose. But looks like Carlos Spain has completely no troops whatsoever, which is fucking great. These guys don't have enough troops to deal with CNT5. It looks, yeah. Why would Carlos Spain declare war when they have... Oh, they got troops, okay. Spanish Civil War. Ever since the defeat of Napoleon, Spain has been plagued by violence, dissent, and turmoil, but it appears that these tensions have reached a breaking point. That is, the Spanish kingdom has been ripped apart in three-sided civil war between the numerous factions. The loyalists of the Madrid government, the supporters of the pretended Javier, and finally the anarcho-syndicalist party known as CNT-FI. There are already numerous reports of volunteers and equipment being shipped to Spain from all over the world to support one faction or another. It can be safely said that the fields of mountains of Spain will be the first battlefield of a much wider conflict between the left and the right. A troublesome development. So let's hope for like the CNT-FI will lose, because they most of the time win, I believe. Hold on. Oh, okay, so that happened. So it looks like the Austrian Empire actually won its war against the Hungarians. However, they did lose their, well, the Transylvania bit. So that's not good. Defang the coronéis. Now we'll get northeastern reorganization. Free from the coronéis, northeastern Brazil will have to be pulled from the colonial era into the 20th century. It will take a considerable effort, but such an industrial base would be an invaluable time in times of war. There we go. Let's have some thingy we can do. We'll go ahead and get a very good stability. We can't. How about we get... oh, here we go. Partial mobilization. We'll get that. Get civilian economy up to partial mobilization. Or maybe Serbia declared war on Bulgaria. Oh my. A country was reborn in the Balkans after the Weltkrieg. Greater Bulgaria, the titan of the peninsula, uniting all Bulgarian lands and beyond. This kingdom for all Bulgarians was born with bloodshed and war though, defeating Serbia, Greece and Romania in the Weltkrieg. A move that these three nations still bitter about today. This tension led to the formation of the Belgrade Pact, and this alliance of Balkan states then has now declared war on the Tsardom, throwing the region into conflict yet again. Will Tsar Boris III save his nation from this overwhelming force, or will his kingdom be divided once more? That was with the Balkans and war all the time. That's so true. Belgrade Pact, yeah, that's getting attacked from all sides. Not really a good idea when you think about it, but whatever. Let's hope that the Austrians can now simply push into Italy. I think that the Austrians should have a lot more troops, and yes, they do. Should be easy, see at least. Now I've already played once as the in my free time as the Austrians. And what I did was like I was going to declare war on Hungary. Simply lined up troops on this border, took away like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 troops of mine, positioned them over here, told them to as soon as the war was declared to attack up here so they could take the demilitarized zone of Venezia, and that's pretty much it. And then then I won the war because it's pretty darn easy. Simply because I was sitting here in the mountains, they couldn't attack, and well, over here this was like a walk in the park, simply because the Austrians didn't have that many troops. Colony states, it looks like Hungary does still exist. Now, how's my party popularity? Medium. How is very high? It's +1. That is very high popularity. If your ruling party is above 80% popularity, which you aren't, but you might be able to get that in the future. Modify the government. Turkestan can declare war on the Alash Orda. Oh my. Now what's the Russians doing over here? Have they... Oh my. They got an entirely new focus group simply because they became the Soviet Union. Or Soviet Republic, I should say. They went with this guy. Socialists. Fucking hell. Can they create the fourth international? Join the national. Fourth international. Soviet Europe. Oh my. Second Weltkrieg. Crush the imperialists. Revolution Arash Orda. There's red call. Okay, so that's actually pretty interesting. The Russians have a completely different focus tree. It's pretty interesting. Probably going to live stream that or something. But whatever. Northeastern reorganization is a thing. Hold on, I need to check something real quick. There we go. Oh, dealing with trade unions. Oh my. or nearly done, but I'll read it. The trade unions of Brazil, especially those aligned with the two main syndicates of the country, the CBT and the BOC, have been a major issue for our integralist regime. While the core leadership of these organizations is made up of committed socialists and have been in active opposition towards our government, their power is being diluted as more and more as the workers the workers are emphasizing our cause. However, this support is tenuous at most, as the bulk of these proletarians can revert to socialism at any greater sign of crisis. With this in mind, our cabinet has proposed 3 different solutions to this issue. Frindo Muller of the Federal Police proposes a simple crackdown on this and dissolution of the trade unions. If we force these organizations underground, their political power will simply disappear. Our Ministry of Industry proposes instead that we just simply replace their leadership with more loyal workers by putting integralist proletarians in power. We'll be sure to continuous support of the unions to our doctrine. The core of our regime, however, made of Plinio Salgado and other theorists like Gustavo Barroso and Miguel Reale, defend the integration of the syndicates on our government structure. Only by granting the proletarians an active voice on our government, they say we can be sure that the demands of even the humblest Brazilians will be listened. We must get rid of these socialist organizations. Replace that leadership with royal proletarians. Yeah. Replace their leadership. Sure. I also go with partial mobilization, simply because it's a good thing to do. I don't even know. Did I ever change my mobilization when I was playing as Russian Republic? I don't even know. That's how bad I am at the game. Now, hold on, production. How are you doing on that? Soon we should be getting some more organization. We will get that organization thingy and we'll be able to get some shit. Now, how is resources wise in Brazil? We have some steel and some rubber. A lot of rubber. Something we don't actually need. For fuck's sake. That's in that area. But anyways, we're going to have to end this episode. If you enjoyed, just drop me a like in those comments and write down below if you're interested in more shit like this. Just subscribe to this channel and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. And I hope you subscribe to the channel. And also, when you're at it, hit the little bell icon so you will always be notified of me being a fucking faggot. Have a good one.